لفتة اللي أنا أحن وأحلم أنني سأعود إليها ويوما سأعود. لفتة مساحتها اللي بتزيد عن 10,000 دنم، وبتمتد من وادي الجوز حتى كالونيا في الغرب، ومن بيت شعفاط وبيت حنينة في الشمال حتى المالحة وعين كارم بالجنوب. لفتة اللي لا زالت شاهدة على النكبة، ولفتة التي تنتظر بانيها وأهلها أن يعودوا إليها. ولفتة نفتوح القرية الكنعانية التي بنيت قبل 5000 سنة بعد بناء القدس. هذه القرى هي حضنها ومركزها القدس، فإذا كانت لفتة قريتي فالقدس مدينتي، وحتما سنعود يوما.
I'd like to welcome you all to Al-Quds Tours, and today's tour in memory of 61 years of the Nakba. We chose a symbolic village, which is Deir Yassin, which is one of the 400 villages massacred in 1948. We will be going to Ein Karem to walk in its valleys and mountains, and visit also its churches and the lovely homes that Palestinians still want very much to come back to. In addition, just before leaving, we will take a bus tour to visit Bakha, Talbiya, Malha, where the Israeli Knesset is built ironically today, the mall, and other places like Duwar Salame, Beit Bsharat, where Golda Meir lived and had erased the Arab calligraphy on its walls. So I hope you will enjoy and learn about Palestine and Palestinian history and cultural heritage from this tour.
Ein Karem, surrounded with this village, Deir Yassin, not far more than 1 kilometer the distance between Ein Karem and the other village surrounded.
All these terms are given to Ein Karem because in Makarem, for example, it's like, what can we say, good manners. Makarem, generosity.
I just want to say, all these houses that you've seen, these are all Palestinian old buildings. I mean, you can't miss that, the architecture. But I want just to say, each of these villages, they had their traditional dress. The motifs of the dress varied, and they represented something particular of that village, whether it's the tree or it's a flower or it's the birds and the design. Ein Karem dress was influenced by the Bethlehem dress, because it's not just the cross stitch. There is, I forgot now the name of the stitch, but they call it like the clock. It's a roundish thing. So the Ein Karem dress is very, very, very rich. I'm very lucky to have an old Ein Karem dress that I wear on special occasions.
It was told about some friends about the tour and the little village here, so I was really surprised that the tour guide gets so emotional about his village. It was pretty interesting for me to listen to his story, so I found it quite emotional for me as well. So I'm not in contact with Palestinian history until now, but it's pretty interesting, yeah.
عشان في أشياء بقدرش أعملها لحالي.
هذا بسكر لحاله المفروض سكوز لي.
This was the first time I visited the exact place and heard about the story, so it was very interesting to me.
طلع كيف كان، لا في سلاحات ولا في شيء، 40 متر مربع.
I'm from Jerusalem, and I think the tour is important for both, for people, from Palestinians as well as for foreigners. Palestinians have little chance to actually explore those areas. Probably they're always worried or scared and stuff. And for foreigners to just like know more about them and what happened.
In Ein Karem, none of the Palestinians remain. All of them kicked out. All the Palestinians, that time 5,500 people of Ein Karem kicked out, and now they became refugees. Many of them in Ramallah and Elbira, but more and Jericho, but more than 60% of them are in Jordan.
I was really interested to join one of the tours because I didn't really study Palestinian history, and it's really important for me to know the roots of my country and the culture, and this is an entire side that we don't get to see very often, even though our parents are Palestinian and live in the West Bank. Not only are they not allowed to visit, but since they're not allowed to visit, we really don't know anybody who can visit, and you don't want to do these sort of things without the family or anybody really encouraging. So a friend of mine, Sausan, who actually also lives in Palestine, in Ramallah, told me about one of the tours, and I was really interested. For an informative educational tour, not just to go and hang out, and, you know, because that's also part, and that's fine, because so far we're having a really good time and I've met some really nice people. But it's nice to actually get some informative history, to be able to see it, because it is a Nakba, and to be able to see Deir Yassin and Ein Karem with a guided tour.
I'm from London, but I've been living in Ramallah for the last 2 years. Heard about the tour with the Center for Jerusalem Studies on an email forum that goes around the international community in Ramallah. It's called Ramallah. As my family is here from England and America, I thought it'd be nice to show them inside 48 what happened back in the Nakba.
In '67, after the June War, most of these families went back to their roots in Bethlehem, and today there's just one Christian family, Arab Christian family in Ein Karem.
Of course, we know that any occupation is inhuman, but especially the Israeli occupation is a very special case, because their whole aim is to evacuate all Palestinians, and as Golda Meir used to say, this is land without people. Until today, you know, they are brainwashing the children and the younger generation by saying, you know, we came here and there were no Palestinians here.
My impressions were that you have here a community which is oppressed, a community which is living under a regime which curtails their rights, which has stolen property and makes it very difficult for anyone outside in the Western world to properly understand what is going on. Tours like this are essential if people in the West, in Europe and America, are to fully understand the difficulties that people in Palestine face every day of their lives. Living under this sort of oppression, with your property taken, historical, cultural, linguistic rights all taken away, is inevitably crushing. And to see people living with hope and with optimism in these circumstances lifts your heart.